day and welcome to our YouTube channel. Do not forget to subscribe, share, like and comment on our videos. Today we'll be doing mathematics grade 11, which is a paper 1 from May-June 2019, and we'll be doing 3 topics, which is exponents and sets, equations and inequalities, and functions. So we'll be skipping question 3 since it's number patterns and they are not in term 1 or 2 in the ATP for the 2025 academic year. So the first question says x squared minus 6x is equals to 7. So we know that if we are solving for x, we have to make sure that either the left or the right hand side of the equal sign has a 0. So let's just transpose the 7 to the left hand side. Then we'll be having x squared minus 6x minus 7 equals 0. And then from there we factorize the left hand side, and then the factors of x squared is x and x. Factors of 7 when subtracted they give you 6. It's 7 and 1. The signs are not the same. The bigger one is negative, and then you now take this bracket, you equate it to 0, and this one you equate it to 0. So you've got x minus 7 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0, and then this gives x as 7 or x as negative 1. And then we go to 1.1.2, which says 3x squared minus 2x is equals to 14. So we have to transpose the 14 to that side. So it's 3x squared minus 2x minus 14 equals to 0. And you know that this is written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. And also when you see this correct to 2 decimal places, you know that you are supposed to use the quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac and all that is over 2a. So we can just put the negative there. And then, so you know that your a here is 3, your b is negative 2, your c is negative 14. So just include the signs. So your a is 3, your b is negative 2, your c is negative 14. And then you can now punch your calculator there. So it's negative into negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 into 3 into negative 14. And then all this is over 2 into 3. And your x is equals to, or your x is equals to. So obviously when you punch that on your calculator, you are going to get negative into negative 2 plus the root of 2 squared, negative 2 squared minus 4 into 3 into negative 14, and then all that is over 2 into 3, and then it gives you the positive one. It's 2,51. So you've got 2,51. This is rounded off to 2 decimal places. Oh, it's going to be 52. Since after the 1 you've got a 9, so 2,52. And then the one with a negative gives us a value of or negative 1,85. So negative 1,85. So the moment you see that, you do not hesitate, you just use this, the quadratic formula. 1.1.3 says to us it's the square root of x minus 2 plus x gives us 2. So the moment you see a square root like this that has 2 terms and one of the term is the variable, then you know that you're supposed to introduce the square both sides of the equation, and then from there one of the answers usually doesn't satisfy the original equation. So it's very important that you check your answers when you are dealing with a question like this. So let's transpose the x to that side. and then we'll be having the root of x minus 2 is equals to 2 minus x, and then you introduce the square on both sides of the equation to get rid of the square root. So the square root cancels the squared, and then you are having x minus 2 is equals to, this is 4 minus 4x plus x squared. So there's no problem. If you do not know how to do this, you just use the FOIL method, which you learned in grade 10. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times negative x, negative 2x, x times negative x times 2, negative 2x, negative x times negative x is positive x squared, and then these are like terms, they give you the negative 4x. Then from there you can transpose the x minus 2 to the other side, and then you'll be having x squared minus 4x, then this x goes to that side, it becomes negative x, and then the 4 is still this side, and then the 2 comes, and then it becomes positive. And then you've got x squared, you collect the like terms, this is minus 5x, this is plus 6 equals 0. Then from there you factorize. It's x, and then the factors of 6 when added they give you 5. It's going to be 3 and 2. The signs are the same, they're negative. Then you equate to 0, you equate to 0. So your x is equals to 3, or your x is equals to 2. And then we go to check. So you can now punch on your calculator and check which of these answers do not satisfy the original equation. So you can just substitute the value which is 3 and substitute the value which is 2. So when you substitute 3 here, 3 minus 1 gives us 1, or 3 minus 2 gives us 1, and then if you've got a 3 here, square root 1 gives you 1, 1 plus 3 does not give us 2, so the 3 is not equals to x because it doesn't make the equation to be true. And then the 2 minus 2 is 0, root of 0 is 0, and then plus 2 gives us 2, so the 2 is the only applicable answer there. And then we move to 1.1.4. So our 1.1.4 is an inequality. So we've got x squared plus 7x, and then is less than 0. So you can see here you've got a 0 this side, so you can just factorize the left hand side. It's x into x plus 7, and then is less than 0. Then you find your critical values. Your x is equals to 0, or your x is equals to negative 7. So this is the same as finding the x-intercepts for this particular function. So if you've got a function, and then this is where your graph is going to cut the x-axis, then you check the value of a is positive, so it's going to be a smiling graph. So it's going to be a graph like this. And then if it's a graph like this, you check from negative 7 to the left hand side, your graph has a positive y since it's above the x-axis, so you say this side it's positive, and then between negative 7 and 0 it's between, or it's below the x-axis, so that means it's a negative y. And then from 0 to the right hand side, you can see it's above the x-axis, so it's positive. And then what did the question want? It wanted where our graph is less than 0, meaning it's negative. So our graph is negative between negative 7 and 0, so you can just say your x is greater than negative 7 but greater than, your x is greater than negative 7 but less than 0. So that is our answer. Now we go to 1.1.5. Our 1.1.5 says 3 exponent x plus 3 plus, it's minus, what is happening with my rubber now? The eraser doesn't want to work. So we've got k. So it's 3 exponent x plus 3 minus 3 exponent x plus 2, and then all this gives us 486. And then you know that you can write this as 3 exponent x multiplied by 3 exponent 3 minus 3 exponent x multiplied by 3 exponent 2 is equals to 486. Then from there you take out the 3 exponent x as a common factor. You are left with 3 power 3, which is 27, and then minus 3 power 2, which is 9. And from there is equals to 486, and then 27 minus 9 gives us 18, so you can just divide by 18 both sides, and then this cancels that, and then you are having 3 exponent x is equals to 27, and then the 27 gives us, now we say 3 exponent x is equals to 3 exponent 3, therefore since the bases are the same, so the exponents are equal to each other. So your x is equals to 3. And then we are done with this one. Now we go to 1.2. Question 1.2 says x squared plus 2xy minus 8y squared is equals to 0. And then they say determine the values of the ratio x over y. Now you just have to solve this, since you know that one bracket is going to have both x and y, since we've got a y squared and x squared like this. So you can just factorize both sides. The x squared has the factors of x and x. Factors of 8, when subtracted, they give you 2. It's 4 and 2, but now they are going to go with y's. Then from there, this one says our signs are not the same. This one says the bigger one is positive, so 4 is bigger. And then from there, you've got x is equals to negative 4y, or x is equals to positive 2y. So your x over y equals negative 4, or your x over y equals 2. Then we go to 1.2.2, hence or otherwise determine the values of x and y if x plus y is equals to 6. So they say x plus y equals 6. And then we can actually just take it from here and there, and then we solve. So the first one, we can say where there's x, we are going to substitute negative 4y and then solve for the for the y value. And then after finding the y value, we substitute back here, and then we find the corresponding x value. So it's x plus y, which is negative 4y plus y equals 6. Then the other one is going to give us, where there's x, we substitute 2y. So there's 2y plus y equals 6. And then we are going to say it's negative 3y equals 6. Then from there you divide by negative 3 both sides, you've got negative 2 this side. 3y is equals to 6, then y is equals to positive 2. Then you take the negative 2, you substitute to this one, you solve for the x value. So your x is equals to negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. And then the y value here, 2 times 2 is 4. So your y is equals to 4. Then we are done with our question 1. Now we move to question 2. In our question 2, 2.1 says to us, if 3 is one root of the equation 2x squared minus 3x equals negative k, determine the value of k. So you can see that if they say 3 is a root, so they actually gave you one answer for x. So you just substitute that x value there and then you solve for k. So it's 2 into 3 squared minus 3 into 3 is equals to negative k. So you punch that on your calculator, you are going to get minus 3 into 3, you get 9. So your 9 is equals to negative k. So that means your k is actually negative 9. So you can actually substitute negative 9 there. Then it becomes positive. You transpose to the other side, it becomes negative. So the actual equation is 2x squared minus 3x minus 9 equal 0. So here you had negative into negative 9, then it became positive. When you transpose to the left hand side, it became negative. Then they say 2.1.2, calculate the value of the other root. So from this you can actually solve. So we say factors of a and c, the twin tower. You've got 2 and 1, 1 and 2 there. You've got 9 and 1, you've got 3 and 3 there. And then we want factors when cross multiplied, we take them and then we subtract those products. They give us a 3. So let's start with the first and the last. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. So 6 minus 3, we do get a 3. So this is the first bracket, this is the second bracket. The ones on the left hand side, they are going to have the variable, which is in this case x. So these two brackets equals to 0, and then we've got 1x that goes with 3, so it's x and 3, then 2x and 3, so 2x and 3. So this one says our signs are not the same, this one says the bigger one is negative. So now since we've got 3 and 3, we look for the final answers. If we were solving, we're going to get 3 this side and 3 over 2 this side. So the bigger one is obviously going to be the 3. So the 3 is going to be negative and this one is going to be positive. And then here we equate this to 0, this to 0. So your x is equals to 3, or your x is equals to negative 3 over 2. So this is the other root for this equation. And then we are going to do simultaneous equation, which is 2.2. And in our 2.2, we can see that we have to use the substitution method. I think it's actually the one that is easier to use for questions like this, where you are given a quadratic and a linear equation. So we've got 2 is equals to, okay, 2 equals to x minus 2y. This is the equation 1. And then 2 is equals to x squared minus 2xy plus 3y squared minus 2. Then from there you can just take the first equation, obviously the linear, you make x the subject. So from equation 1, we know that x is equals to 2y plus 2. So you just factorized this 2y to the other side. And then you say substitute x by 2y plus 2 in equation 2. So you just go to your equation 2, where there's x here, and there you substitute this. So 2 is equals to into 2y plus 2 squared minus 2y into 2y plus 2 plus 3y squared minus 2. So I just wrote this 2xy as 2yx. It's the same thing since they are multiplied. And then I've got 2 is equals to, here we've got 4y squared plus 4y. It's going to be 8y, since we know that we are supposed to Okay, so it's plus 8y. If you are not sure, you just write both these brackets and you multiply them out. 2y, 2y, 4y squared, 2y, 2, 4y, 2, 2y, 4y, 2, 2, 4. And then these two, they give us the 8. So it's 8y and then plus 4. Minus, this gives us the 4y squared again, and then these gives us minus 4y, and then it's plus 3y squared minus 2. Then you can take this 2 to the other side. The 4y squared is going to subtract the 4y squared there. Then you'll be having 3y squared, and then 8y minus 4y is plus 4y, and then 4 minus 2 gives us 2. Then this 2 goes to the other side, it gives us 0. So all this is equals to 0. So it's 4 minus 2 minus 2. And then it gives us the 0. And then the y into 3y plus 4 is equals to 0. Y is equals to 0, or y is equals to negative 4 over 3. And then we find the corresponding x values. So the x values, we can just find them using this equation. So 2 into 0 plus 2 gives us 2. So this one, it's 2 into 4, or negative 4 over 3. So it's 2 into negative 4 over 3. And then plus 2, and then it gives us negative 2 over 3. So here you've got negative 2 over 3. So your x and y are 2 and 0 and negative 2 over 3 and negative 4 over 3. So you can just substitute this to the original equation and see if it makes the equation to be true or not. And if it doesn't, you know that your answers are not correct. And then we go to 2.3, simplify. Now what are we simplifying? We are simplifying a set there. So the set is the root of, in fact it's the fourth root of 3 power x multiplied by 9 power x plus 1. And all this is over 27 power x plus 2. So you can see here that you actually have a power of 3. So the 9, you can write it as 3 power 2, the 27, 3 power 3. So just leave this as it is, the fourth root. So you've got 3 power x multiplied by 3 power 2x multiplied by 3 power 2. How did we get this? We just said the 9 is 3 power 2, and then we say power x plus 1, and then we multiply these. Then we get the 2x and the 2 there. And then all this is over 3 power 3x multiplied by 3 power 6. So how did we get this 6? We just said 3 power 3 power x plus 2, and then we multiplied so 3x and 6. Then from there we just say fourth root of this is going to cancel this. Since it's 3 power x times 3 power 2x, it's 3 power 3x. Divided by 3 power 3x, it gives us 0. And then these two, you can just say it's 3 power 2 minus 6, and then it's the fourth root of 3 power negative 4. And then remember they said to you, leave the answer with positive exponents only. So we go to this one, and then we say this actually gives us 3 power negative 4 to the power of 1 over 4. You know that the root is 1 over, so it gives us 3 power negative 1, which is the same as 1 over 3 power 1. And then we go to 2.4. Now 2.4 says to us, determine the values of m for which 2x squared plus mx equals 5x plus 8 has two roots of equal magnitude but of opposite signs. You know that is a difference between two squares. So we actually have 2x squared plus mx minus 5x minus 8 equals 0. So we just transpose these two, and then here you can see the x is a common factor there. So we've got 2x squared plus, let's say, into m minus 5. So we just took x as a common factor, and then we're left with m minus 5. Then minus 8 is equals to 0. So you can see that if this was not there, if it was not there, we're going to have 2x squared minus 8, which when you divide by 2, it gives you x squared minus 4, which is the same as what we actually want. So we want the m minus 5 to be 0. So m minus 5 is equals to 0, so that it's 0x, and then this whole thing goes away, and then your m is equals to 5. So this is the value or values of m for which that gives two answers, which in this case we even have the answers that it's 2 and minus 2. And then that is your question 1 and your question 2. We'll continue with the functions.